Everybody cheating in here, whether it's 24 and Selma, whether it's Mendici and Yandy, whoever it is. Cheat in peace. Cheat in peace. I'm not trying to bother you for nothing.
I don't like.
You won't believe what just went down in Atlanta because this season of Love and Hip Hop, ATL has officially crossed over from messy to mayhem. Zayne didn't just clap back. He detonated an emotional bomb that left the entire cast shook. Friendships shattered and alliances crumbling in real time. One minute he's calm and collected, the next he's flipping tables, exposing secrets. And dragging everybody, and I mean everybody, for filth. From shady betrayals to secret hookups and receipts nobody saw coming. This meltdown has social media in a frenzy and producers scrambling to contain the chaos. Fans are calling it the most explosive blow-up in LHHATL history, and trust me. Once you hear what Zayne said and who he came for, you'll understand why. Buckle up, because this isn't just drama. This is war in designer sneakers, champagne, and new beginnings. But anyone who knows Love and Hip Hop ATL knows that peace never lasts long. And this time, the storm had a name, Zayne. The episode opened with what was supposed to be a reunion dinner. Producers teased it as a reset moment, a chance for the cast to put their differences aside and rebuild. The room was decked out in gold accents, soft lighting, and too many cameras to count. Everyone was dressed to impress, trying to play nice for the optics. But under those fake smiles and awkward hugs, there was tension so thick you could cut it with a butter knife at first. Zayne seemed chill, maybe too chill. He walked in rocking a designer suit and an icy calm that fooled everyone. "I'm just here for good vibes," he told the cameras with a smirk. But his eyes told a different story. They were cold, sharp, scanning the room like he was planning something. And spoiler alert, he was. The drama had been brewing for weeks. Rumors were flying about secret betrayals, backdoor deals, and people using Zayne's name for clout. Social media had been buzzing with subtweets and cryptic IG stories. And while most cast members tried to ignore the noise, Zayne was done playing polite. He had receipts. He had rage. And he was ready to unleash all of it. The first spark came during a toast. Carly Red, ever the instigator, stood up to celebrate growth and forgiveness. But before she could even finish her sentence, Zayne interrupted her with a laugh that silenced the entire table. "Forgiveness," he said, raising an eyebrow. "How are we forgiving people who were talking trash about me last week?" The room froze. Heads turned. The tension shifted from awkward to volatile in seconds. Carly tried to brush it off with a nervous laugh, but Zayne wasn't done. "Nah, let's talk about it," he said, standing up slowly. "Let's talk about how people in this room been smiling in my face while plotting behind my back." You could feel the energy change. Sierra's wine glass stopped midair. Spice shifted in her seat. Even Erica Mena, queen of chaos herself, stayed quiet. Zayne started pacing, voice rising with every sentence. "Y'all want to act fake for the cameras? Fine. But don't act shocked when I start airing out the truth," he snapped. The first person in his line of fire. Rich, a longtime friend turned foe. According to Zayne, Rich had been secretly shopping around a collaboration deal they were supposed to launch together without telling him. And worse, he'd been telling industry insiders that Zayne was too unstable to work with. Unstable. Zayne barked across the table. "You're the one begging promoters for advances, like a rookie. Don't play with me." Rich tried to defend himself, mumbling something about miscommunication. But Zayne wasn't hearing it. He slammed his hand on the table so hard the glasses shook. Miscommunication is forgetting to text back. This is betrayal. That's when the dominoes started falling. Zayne's outburst opened the floodgates. And everyone's dirty laundry started spilling. Next up was Jessica, who Zayne accused of spreading lies about his relationship online. According to him, she had been telling blogs that he cheated, a rumor that cost him a major brand partnership. Jessica denied it, but Zayne whipped out his phone and read a screenshot aloud. It was a DM allegedly from her burner account, calling him a toxic narcissist and warning fans to stay away. "Explain this," he said, shoving the phone in her face. Jessica went pale. "That's not me," she stammered, but no one believed her. At this point, the dinner had gone completely off the rails. People were yelling over each other. Security started inching closer to the table. And Zayne, he was just getting started. "This whole cast is fake," he declared. "Half of y'all only here because of my name. I put people on, I helped y'all eat, and this is the thanks I get. Lies, backstabbing, and disrespect." The room erupted. Carly yelled back. Spice clapped at him. Jessica stormed out. But Zayne didn't care. He was finally saying what he'd been holding in all season. "You think I need this show?" he shouted. "I was making headlines before I ever stepped on this set. Don't get it twisted. I am the story." That line, "I am the story," instantly blew up online. Within minutes of the episode airing, it was trending on Twitter. Memes, reaction videos, fan debates, it was everywhere. Some viewers called it iconic. Others said it was arrogant. But one thing was clear. Zayne had officially broken the internet. Back at the dinner, producers tried to calm things down, but it was too late. The damage was done. Alliances shattered. Trust destroyed. And as Zayne stormed out of the venue, cameras followed him into the parking lot, where he lit up one last grenade. "Y'all ain't seen nothing yet," he said into the camera. "They want to play games. Cool, but next time, I'm bringing proof." And just like that, he walked off into the night, leaving chaos, confusion, and cliffhangers in his wake. It was the kind of moment that defines a season: raw, unscripted, and absolutely unforgettable. But little did anyone know, Zayne was just getting started. The receipts, he teased, they were real. And the secrets behind them. They were about to blow this entire cast apart. If you thought Zayne's dinner blow-up was bad, baby, that was just the trailer. What happened next was the feature film, and it had everything. Leaked screenshots, backroom betrayals, secret relationships, and alliances falling apart faster than Carly Red's engagement timelines, the morning after his infamous outburst. The cast group chat was a battlefield. Some people were furious, some were panicking, and others were straight up terrified. But Zayne, oh, he was calm, way too calm. He posted a cryptic story on Instagram with just 3 words: "Clock starts now." And that's when the chaos began. Within hours, multiple gossip pages dropped screenshots allegedly sent by Zayne himself. The first was a leaked text exchange between Rich and a well-known promoter, and it was ugly. In the messages, Rich was seen telling the promoter not to book Zayne for an event because he was too unstable and bad for brand image. Even worse, he offered to take Zayne's spot for half the fee. Social media went crazy. Fans flooded Rich's comments, calling him a snake and a discount opportunist. One viral tweet read, "Imagine calling your friend unstable while begging to take his bag." But Zayne wasn't done. He'd promised proof, and this was only round 1. Next up was Jessica, who had denied spreading rumors about Zayne's love life. Remember those burner dimes he confronted her with? He had more. Way more. A full thread surfaced showing Jessica in a group chat with several cast members months before the dinner, plotting how to humble Zayne by leaking stories to the blogs. One message even read, "If we plant the right story about his cheating, brands will back off. Then he'll need us." The internet exploded again. #CancelJessica trended for 48 hours. Sponsors began quietly pulling deals from her brand collabs. And fans started petitioning to have her removed from the show. "Play with someone else," Zayne tweeted. "I warned y'all." And then came the nuke. The piece of evidence that turned this from regular love and hip-hop drama into franchise-shaking scandal. Late one night, Zayne dropped a 2-minute voice memo on social media, a private conversation between 2 cast members, plotting to sabotage his career. The voices were muffled but unmistakable. Sierra and Carly read. In the recording, they were heard discussing how to blacklist Zayne by contacting brands and leaking negative press. One line in particular broke the internet. "If he keeps acting like the star, we'll make sure no one wants to work with him. Period." That clip was the smoking gun. Within minutes, fan accounts were dissecting every second. YouTubers posted breakdown videos. Even other cast members started speaking out, some defending Zayne, others trying desperately to distance themselves from the drama. Carly tried to clap back with an IG Live, calling the recording edited and taken out of context. But that backfired spectacularly when Zayne went live right after, dropping the full, unedited version, complete with timestamps. Context. He laughed. Here's your context. It was a career-ending move. Carly's reputation, already fragile, took a massive hit. Brands backed away. Collaborations vanished overnight. And fans who once loved her were now calling her Carly the Snake. But perhaps the most shocking part of all was what happened behind the scenes. According to multiple insiders, producers were in panic mode. They had expected drama, sure, but not this level of nuclear fallout. "This is bigger than anything we've ever seen," one production source admitted. Zayne flipped the whole show upside down. Meetings were held. Storylines were rewritten. Security for the reunion taping was doubled. It wasn't just about ratings anymore. It was about safety, lawsuits, and salvaging the season. About safety, lawsuits, and salvaging the season. And as for Zayne, he was thriving. His follower count skyrocketed. Brand deals that had once ghosted him were now back on the table. Even A-list celebrities started following the saga. One rapper tweeted, "Zayne playing chess while they still figuring out checkers." But behind all the wins, there was one thing Zayne made clear. This wasn't about revenge, it was about respect. For too long, people thought they could use my name and get away with it, he said during a viral Instagram Live. "They forgot who I am. I built myself without this show. And if they think they can tear me down, they better bring something stronger than lies." It was a declaration of war, and the cast heard it loud and clear. Some tried to make peace. Spice reached out privately, apologizing for staying silent when others were plotting against him. A few cast members unfollowed Jessica and Carly altogether, publicly siding with Zayne. But others, they were ready to fight back. Rumors started swirling that Carly had her own receipts, and that she planned to expose secrets from Zayne's past that would end him. Tension reached a boiling point. During a promotional event just days later, Zayne and Carly ended up in the same room for the first time since the leaks. And let's just say, security earned their paychecks. "You think you won?" Carly shouted across the room. "This isn't over." Zayne didn't even flinch. "It's already over," he replied. "You just don't know it yet." The cameras caught every second, the icy glares, the whispered threats, the producers trying and failing to calm the storm. It was reality TV gold, and viewers ate it up. But even as the chaos played out on screen, one thing was obvious. The real battle hadn't even started. Because if Zayne's leaks were phase 1, phase 2 was about to make everything we've seen so far look like child's play. If Zayne thought dropping receipts was going to end this war, he was dead wrong. Because in the world of love and hip-hop, ATL, revenge doesn't end with an apology. It ends with total destruction. And now, the people he exposed. They were ready to fight back. And they were playing dirty. The week after Zayne's bombshell leaks, the vibe on set was pure chaos. Cast members were split into camps. Half were riding the hashtag TeamZayne wave, reposting his lives, defending him online, and calling for Carly and Jessica to be booted from the show. The other half, they were plotting a comeback. And leading the charge was none other than Carly Red herself. Carly had been humiliated. She'd gone from fan favorite to villain overnight. Sponsors were gone. Her DMAs were flooded with snake emojis. And every interview request she got started with one question. Did you really try to blacklist Zayne? But Carly Red is nothing if not resilient. And instead of hiding, she decided to flip the script and flip it hard. Her comeback started with a sit-down interview on a popular gossip podcast. But this wasn't an apology tour. It was a scorched earth takedown. Carly came armed with receipts of her own old texts, contracts, hey, and voice notes, all aimed at painting Zayne as the real villain. Everyone wants to paint him as this innocent victim, she said. But the truth, Zayne isn't who he says he is, and I'm done protecting him. And then she dropped the bombshell. According to Carly, Zayne had lied about his career struggles to gain sympathy from fans, even allegedly fabricating stories about being betrayed by industry insiders when, in reality, he'd been dropped from deals for unprofessional behavior. Also claimed that he once leaked his own drama to the blogs just to boost his storyline and secure a bigger check from producers. You think he's exposing people? Please, Carly sneered. Zayne's been exposing himself for years. That's the only reason he's still on this show. The internet went wild. Some fans believed her. Others called it damage control. But Carly wasn't finished. She'd saved her biggest blow for last, she claimed to have. Messages between Zayne and a producer, proving that he was the one who first floated the idea of sabotaging Rich's deal, all to make himself look like the underdog. He told production to make it messy so fans would root for him, Carly alleged. This whole narrative is fake. Carly's interview was a grenade. Jessica's next move was a nuclear bomb. Furious about being dragged through the mud, she launched her own live, and this one got personal. Jessica accused Zayne of having multiple secret relationships with crew members during filming, implying that he'd use them for storyline leverage. Let's talk about the women who don't have cameras in their faces, Jessica said with a smirk. Let's talk about how many NDAs production had to make people sign because of his behavior. The comments section exploded. Fans didn't know what to believe. Was Zayne really the victim, or was he the puppet master pulling strings behind the scenes? Some even accused the network of scripting the whole feud for ratings, while others swore the drama was 100% real. Either way, the story had shifted. For the first time, Zayne wasn't in control, and it got worse. A leaked email surfaced allegedly showing Zayne threatening to quit the show mid-season unless producers gave him a bigger storyline. If they're not going to center the narrative on me, I'm out. The email read, "The fans tune in for me, not them." Whether the email was real or not didn't matter. The damage was done. Suddenly, Zayne's credibility was under fire. Was he really the betrayed hero he claimed to be? Or a manipulative mastermind playing the victim for clout? But Zayne wasn't going to sit back and let them rewrite the story. Hours after Carly and Jessica's interviews, he went live, and it was pure, unfiltered rage. "Y'all want to play dirty? Bet," he said, pacing in front of the camera. "I've been silent about a lot. But since they want to lie, let's talk about the real truth." He accused Carly of being desperate for relevance and said Jessica was projecting her own scandals onto him. Then he hinted that he had court documents and signed NDAs that would expose every single lie they'd ever told. "This ain't a storyline anymore," Zayne warned. "This is war. And trust me, y'all not built for the kind of smoke I'm about to bring." Fans went crazy. #ZayneExposals started trending before the live even ended. People begged him to drop the documents. Memes flooded timelines. The drama had evolved from petty shade to full-scale warfare, and the fandom was eating up every second. Behind the scenes, producers were in full-blown crisis mode. According to leaks from the production team, VH1 executives were furious. Contracts were being reviewed. Legal teams were consulted. And there were even whispers that one or more cast members could be fired if things escalated further. "This isn't drama anymore. This is legal," one insider said. "There's talk of defamation lawsuits, breach of contract claims, the whole nine. It's gotten that serious." And just when everyone thought things couldn't possibly get messier, they did out of nowhere. An anonymous Instagram page began posting unseen footage from filming unedited clips, raw audio, and behind-the-scenes moments that were never meant to air. One video showed Jessica and Carly allegedly discussing how to trap Zayne in a fake storyline. Another showed a producer coaching Rich on what to say to make Zayne look unhinged. The posts went viral instantly. Fans accused the network of manipulating the drama for ratings. Hashtags like hashtag LHHATL exposed and hashtag justice for Zayne trended for days. And suddenly, the tide turned again, this time back in Zayne's favor. By the end of the week, the show wasn't just messy, it was radioactive. Cast members weren't speaking. Friendships were over. Brand deals were dead. And producers were scrambling to control a narrative that had completely escaped their grasp. But through it all, one thing was certain: Zayne wasn't backing down. The war was still raging, and the final battle, that was going to be explosive. If you thought the drama had peaked, think again. By the time Part 4 rolled around, Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta Season 13 wasn't just messy, it was a full-blown meltdown. What started as a cast feud had now spiraled into legal chaos. Public betrayals and reality TV history being rewritten in real time. And at the center of it all, still Zayne, furious, fearless. And now more dangerous than ever, the anonymous Instagram account that leaked behind the scenes. Footage had flipped the entire script. Fans who were starting to doubt Zayne suddenly switched back to his side, calling the show rigged, manipulative, and toxic. Clips of producers feeding Carly and Jessica's storylines, orchestrating drama, and encouraging them to take Zayne down were plastered all over social media. Even celebrities were weighing in. Cardi B reposted one of the leaked videos with the caption, "It's why I don't trust reality TV." 50 Cent chimed in, "They've been trying to play my boy, but real ones always win." The tide was shifting, and the network knew it. Behind the scenes, VH1 executives were panicking. Advertisers were pulling out. Sponsors were demanding answers. And worst of all, rumors were swirling that Zayne had hired a legal team to sue the network, the producers, and certain cast members for defamation and contract violations. He's not bluffing. One insider told a gossip blog, "He's furious and he's about to make an example out of them." The legal threats alone sent shockwaves through the cast. Carly reportedly broke down in tears during a production meeting, terrified that the lawsuit could expose even more of her private messages. Jessica hired her own lawyer. And Rich, he stopped filming altogether and disappeared from social media entirely. But Zayne wasn't slowing down. He was doubling down on Instagram Live, now pulling in over 500K viewers at a time. He dropped a new set of receipts that made everything that came before look tame. This time, it wasn't just texts or leaked conversations. It was financial records. Zayne revealed documents showing that Carly and Jessica had been secretly paid bonuses by the production company for conflict escalation, essentially proving that they were financially incentivized to target him. One line item even listed a $20,000 payment labeled Storyline Enhancement Zayne Feud. "They said I was paranoid," Zayne said during the live stream, holding up the papers. "They said I was dramatic. Nah, I was right. They paid people to destroy me." Fans lost their minds. "This isn't a show anymore. This is a setup." One tweeted. Another wrote they turned reality TV into a hit job. The hashtags hashtag justice for Zayne and hashtag LHHATL SCAM trended for days. Producers scrambled to respond, releasing a vague statement denying any wrongdoing and insisting that storylines are dramatized but never fabricated. But by then, the damage was irreversible. The trust was gone. Meanwhile, Carly and Jessica's reputations were disintegrating. Jessica's beauty line lost multiple partnerships overnight. Carly was reportedly disinvited from several influencer events. Even longtime fans were turning against them. "You sold your soul for a storyline," one viral comment read. "And now the devil's collecting." But the fallout didn't stop there. As the chaos exploded online, VH1 quietly pulled the plug on two planned spin-offs, one centered on Jessica and another around Carly's family. Sources said executives didn't want to reward toxic behavior in the middle of the scandal. Even worse, the network began editing Zayne back into episodes they had previously cut him. From hoping to ride the wave of public Support, it's the biggest power shift we've ever seen, one producer admitted off the record. Zayne went from being the villain to being untouchable. They're terrified of losing him. And yet, for all his victories, Zayne wasn't celebrating. He was angry. Angrier than ever, and now his mission was personal. They tried to end me, he said in one fiery Instagram rant. They tried to play me like I was some dumb storyline character. But I'm not just a cast member. I am the storyline. And if they think I'm done, they're about to find out how far I'm willing to go. That warning wasn't just talk. Within days, reports surfaced that Zayne's legal team had officially filed a cease and desist order against the network to prevent them from airing certain scenes he claimed were manipulated and defamatory. There were also whispers that he was preparing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit that could blow the entire franchise apart. The cast was falling apart under the pressure. Friendships that had lasted seasons were now destroyed. Alliances shifted daily. No one trusted anyone. Filming became nearly impossible, with producers forced to shoot separate scenes because cast members refused to be in the same room. Meanwhile, social media was devouring every second. Fans created timelines, conspiracy threads, even documentaries on TikTok about the Zayne saga. Some compared it to the early days of Surviving Bad Boy or the Nicki versus Cardi beef. "This isn't reality TV," one fan commented. "This is history." But the chaos wasn't over, not even close. In a shocking twist, an anonymous email was sent to several major blogs with the subject line, "The truth about Zayne." Attached was a 45-second clip allegedly filmed during a private off-camera meeting showing Zayne having a heated argument with a producer. In the video, he appeared to threaten to ruin the show if they didn't make him the star. Was it real? Was it edited? No one knew. But it was enough to reignite the debate. Critics accused Zayne of being manipulative, after all. Supporters said the clip was taken out of context. And once again, the fandom was divided right down the middle. Still, one thing was undeniable. The show had lost control. The line between reality and production had blurred beyond recognition. And as the season headed into its final episodes, one chilling question hovered over everything. Could Love and Hip Hop ATL even survive this? Because what started as petty drama had become a scandal so explosive, so deeply rooted in betrayal and corruption, that it was no longer just about ratings, it was about redemption. And whether Zayne would rise as the hero or fall as the villain would all depend on what happened next. If season 13 of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta was a roller coaster before, then part 5 was the part where the track snapped. The chaos reached levels no one, not the fans, not the producers, not even Zayne himself, saw coming. Because just when he was on top of the world, just when the public had crowned him the truth teller and ultimate exposer, everything flipped. And this time, the knives weren't coming from his enemies. They were coming from inside his own circle. The anonymous 45-second video that leaked showing Zayne allegedly threatening producers was just the beginning. At first, most people brushed it off as another edited smear campaign. But then longer clips started to surface, and they were a lot harder to explain away. In one video, Zayne could be heard saying, "If they don't give me more screen time, I'll leak everything. I'll burn this show down." In another, he was seen telling a friend off camera, "This feud is the best thing to ever happen to me. They think I'm mad, I'm making money." The internet exploded. Overnight, hashtags like #ZAYNE, the manipulator, and #scripted savage started trending. The same fans who once praised him as a hero were now calling him an opportunist. Even his most loyal supporters felt betrayed. "We defended you, and this is what you were doing behind the scenes." One fan commented, "You played us all. It's got worse." A source close to production leaked a series of internal emails allegedly showing that Zayne did coordinate certain leaks with a gossip blog, including the first wave of exposes about Carly and Jessica. According to the emails, Zayne promised the blogger exclusive access in exchange for positive narrative coverage. In other words, the truth he had been screaming about all season. Might not have been the whole truth. Carly and Jessica wasted zero time capitalizing on the turn of events. They hopped on Instagram Live together for the first time since the feud started, and this time, the tables had turned. "See?" Carly said, grinning ear to ear. "I told y'all from the beginning, he's a liar and a manipulator. He built this entire storyline." Jessica jumped in. "This man isn't a victim. Here's a producer in disguise. He used all of us to make himself look good, and now the receipts are catching up." The live stream pulled in over 700,000 viewers. More than any of Zayne's, it was a PR nightmare for him. And for the first time all season, he was silent. Behind the scenes, though, insiders said he was furious. He feels betrayed, one source close to Zayne revealed. He knows the leaks came from someone on his team. He's trying to figure out who flipped. Ain't flip? Someone did. Because just days later, a former assistant of Zayne stepped forward, and what they revealed blew the lid off everything. In a lengthy interview with a popular YouTube gossip channel, the assistant claimed that Zayne had been orchestrating chaos for months. According to them, he had a 5-step plan to become the central figure of the show. Manufactured drama, leak partial, receipts to look like the victim, turn fan opinion against his. Castmates threaten producers for more control. Use public support too. Renegotiate his contract. He's been playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers, the assistant said. And he doesn't care who gets hurt as long as he wins. The revelations detonated the internet. Memes flooded timelines. Reaction channels went live 24/7. Even major news outlets like TMZ and Page 6 picked up the story, calling it one of the most elaborate reality TV manipulations ever caught on camera. The backlash was brutal. Brands that had just signed endorsement deals with Zayne quietly pulled out. His followers started to drop. And according to insiders, the network, which had been terrified of losing him just weeks earlier, now saw an opportunity to cut ties. But Zayne wasn't about to go down without a fight. In a rare interview with a major entertainment outlet, he broke his silence and he owned it. "Yeah, I said some things," he admitted. "Yeah, I wanted control over my story. But you know what? So does everyone else in this business. The difference is, I was good at it. And if me being good at the game makes me the bad guy, then fine, I'm the bad guy." The statement was bold, but it didn't land the way he hoped. Critics called it arrogant and tone-deaf. Fans said it confirmed their worst suspicions. Even some of his allies began to distance themselves. "He's untouchable now," one cast member told a blogger. "No one wants to film with him." But the real bombshell was still to come. A major entertainment lawyer leaked that VH1 was considering legal action against Zayne for breach of contract and reputational damage. According to the source, his alleged leaks and behind-the-scenes manipulation could cost the network millions, and they were prepared to sue to recover damages. "If that happens," the source explained, "it won't just end his time on the show. It could end his entire career on the show. It could end his entire career." The stakes had never been higher. Zayne was no longer fighting Carly, Jessica, or even the court of public opinion. He was now in a war against the machine itself, the network, the lawyers, and the industry that once made him a star. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any darker, they did. The same anonymous account that had leaked footage weeks earlier returned with a final ominous post. The real story hasn't been told yet. Zayne's biggest secret is still coming. Within minutes, social media went into meltdown. What could be worse than everything that had already been exposed? What secret could possibly top everything the world already knew? And who was behind the leaks in the first place? One thing was clear, the game wasn't over. Zayne might have lost the public's trust, but he wasn't done fighting. And as season 13 hurtled toward its explosive finale, one thing was certain, the final twist was still coming. If love and hip-hop, Atlanta season 13 has taught us anything, it's that no one is untouchable. Not even Zayne, because as explosive as his downfall had been so far, nothing. Not the leaks, not the betrayals, not even the legal threats could have prepared him or the world for the final blow. The truth was about to come out. And it was darker, deeper, okay, and more devastating than anyone imagined. The mysterious anonymous account that had been teasing one. Last Secret finally delivered, and it didn't drop a clip, a voice memo, or a screenshot. It dropped a 40-page document. A document that would shatter Zayne's career, rewrite the narrative of the entire season, and leave fans, castmates, and even producers in stunned silence. The document, which quickly went viral, was a compilation of emails, contracts, and text messages spanning more than a year. And at its core was a bombshell revelation. Zayne had allegedly engineered the entire feud from the very beginning. According to the leaked files, Zayne had secretly pitched a redemption arc, storyline to producers before filming even started. One that would revolve around him being betrayed, targeted, and forced to fight back. He even suggested specific cast members to involve in the plot and listed the types of scandals that would guarantee fan engagement. But the most shocking part, Zayne had allegedly paid a gossip blog to leak fake rumors about himself, including the cheating accusations, the betrayal whispers, and the sabotage deals just to make the storyline look real. In one email, he allegedly wrote, "If we control the narrative from the start, they'll eat it up. They'll think I'm the underdog. And then when I win, I'll be the face of the show." The revelation hit the internet like a nuclear blast. Fans were furious. The betrayal wasn't just of his castmates, it was of the audience itself. People who had defended him for months now felt manipulated and used. "We rooted for you." One viral tweet read, "We fought for you." And it was all fake. Within hours, Zayne's name was trending worldwide, but for all the wrong reasons. Hashtag Zayne canceled, hashtag fake and finessed, and hashtag goodbye, Zayne, dominated social media. The narrative had completely flipped. The victim had become the villain. VH1 couldn't stay silent anymore. In a shocking move, the network released an official statement announcing that Zayne had been suspended indefinitely from filming and that they were reviewing all legal options regarding contractual violations. Statement ended with one brutal sentence: "We are committed to authenticity, and recent revelations do not align with the values of this franchise." It was over. Brand deals vanished overnight. Endorsements disappeared. Zayne's name, once the most talked about in the Love and Hip Hop universe, became radioactive. Even his inner circle abandoned him. Close friends unfollowed him. Collaborators distanced themselves. And castmates who once feared his wrath now mocked his downfall. Carly, during an Instagram Live, couldn't resist one last jab. "The king of chaos got dethroned by his own crown," she said, sipping wine. Poetic. Jessica posted a photo of herself on set with the caption, "Some of us don't need scripts to stay relevant." But the most heartbreaking moment came not from his enemies, but from the fans. Once passionate hashtag Team Zayne supporters started posting videos of themselves deleting old clips, throwing out merch, and unfollowing his accounts. "He betrayed our trust," one fan said tearfully in a TikTok that went viral. "And that's worse than anything he did to them." Still, Zayne refused to go down quietly. Days after the leak, he released a lengthy statement on social media. His first direct response since the scandal exploded. "I made mistakes. I wanted control over my story, and I let that desire take me too far. But I never meant to hurt anyone. Everything I did came from a place of survival in an industry that chews people up and spits them out. I'm sorry to the fans who feel betrayed. I lost myself in the chaos." The apology split the internet once again. Some said it was too little, too late. Others believed it was the first genuine thing he had said in months. But for the network, the cast, and the industry at large, the damage was irreversible. The season finale of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta aired just weeks later, and it was unlike anything the franchise had ever seen. Gone were the dramatic edits and staged confrontations. In their place were raw, unfiltered moments of cast members processing what had happened. Some cried. Others raged. Most just shook their heads in disbelief. The reunion episode was even more surreal. Zayne wasn't invited. His name was barely mentioned. It was as if he had been erased from the show he once dominated. And yet, his shadow loomed over every conversation. This season was a lesson, Carly said during the final segment. You can't build a legacy on lies, because the truth always wins eventually. As the credits rolled, social media was ablaze with speculation about Zayne's future. Would he try to make a comeback? Would he sue VH1? Would he disappear from the spotlight entirely? One thing was certain, the Zayne era of love and hip-hop was over. The man who once declared, "I am the story," had been written out of it by his own hand. But even in disgrace, his impact was undeniable. The season shattered ratings records, dominated social media conversations, and forced an industry-wide reckoning about how far reality TV should go to blur the lines between entertainment and exploitation. And for better or worse, Zayne's rise and fall would become the blueprint for future seasons. A cautionary tale about ego, manipulation, and the high price of fame. In the end, Zayne didn't just lose his crown. He lost the one thing more valuable than fame, more powerful than clout, and harder to earn back once it's gone: trust. And there you have it, the rise and catastrophic fall of Zayne, the self-proclaimed king of chaos who built his empire on lies and watched it crumble in real time. But now we want to hear from you. Was Zayne a mastermind who just flew too close to the sun? Or was he a manipulator who got exactly what he deserved? Do you think he deserves a shot at redemption? Or is this the end of his reality TV reign for good? Drop your raw, unfiltered thoughts in the comments. No holding back. If you were glued to every twist and turn of this explosive season, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next scandal that shakes the love and hip-hop universe. Trust me, this isn't the end of the drama. It's just the beginning of a whole new era.